I applied for the program, I've always had a very strong female role model in my family. My grandmother raised us, all the grandkids, and it was really crucial for me to kind of pass on that having a strong woman in the family is not a bad thing. So as far as applying to LEAD, I knew a lot of graduates. I had seen how enjoyable the experience had been for them, and a lot of the networking and new opportunities that they had gained out of the program, and just the good people that went through the program that wanted to do better for their community and abroad.
Sometimes it's hard to keep my mouth shut, and that was a real challenge for me sometimes. But I think I learned that other people have great ideas and to sit back and soak it in, and sometimes, as my father would say, is the reason you have two ears and one mouth. So everywhere we went, I just sat back and learned, because in my profession, I tend to have to be in the forefront, and so it's nice to, going back to the farm, to sit back and just listen to people and their experiences and apply them to what I'm hopefully going to do here on the farm.
Coming into LEAD, I really was unaware of all the industries that we have in Maryland. I mean, each and every seminar, I felt like I got so much out of it, just to see the breadth of things that we have. We're not just row crops, we're not just poultry, we're not just livestock. There's literally everything you can think of in this little state.
I think the most impactful thing LEAD does is develop a network, not only in the 2 years that you spend with the fellows that are in your class, but also the alumni network. A lot of individuals in your class are going to go on to serve in leadership roles in various organizations, so having those relationships already developed is probably what I feel, LEAD makes the most impact.
A take home for me is that we're all facing similar struggles. We all have common goals, and there's definitely more that unites us than that divides us. My professional life and my organization, we primarily focus on what's going on that impacts modern large-scale farms. We can't forget that the agriculture community is much bigger than that, and we're already such a small percentage of the population that we have to come together, have one another's backs, and again, figure out how we can support each other towards common goals.
And so being with this group for 2 years, you really get to know them and the richness of their lives, their families, their jobs, and then really see what they have to offer, because I think everyone has something rich to offer to this program. Working as a county agriculture agent, I get questions that range from livestock, row crops, horticulture, renewable energy, law, land use, and now I have a network of people that are specialists in those areas that I can call on to get information from my clientele and provide the most useful, knowledgeable, up-to-date information that can help them make decisions for their operations and be profitable.
Part of leadership programs like this, you generally want to have some kind of exponential leadership growth as opposed to incremental. So, throughout the program, you might have small wins in leadership growth, but usually at the conclusion, you kind of reflect, realize that you now have an enormous support system around the state, which kind of removes a lot of mental barriers for tasks and projects you may take on at work or in your community.
Leadership can be a variety of different things. You can either lead by example, or you can take charge of a project. Leadership, as defined through this program, I think is being able to work with a wide variety of people to achieve your goals. LEAD has been wonderful in terms of forming new relationships and meeting a wonderful group of people that I may not have come across in other avenues.
I had been asked several times to apply for the program and did not, because I did not want to go on an international study experience. It was a great deal of satisfaction having made it and enjoyed my time. And hopefully will not necessarily 100% shy away if the opportunity comes along, but will at least explore opportunities. I grew up wanting to somehow and always make some sort of an impact, a positive impact on agriculture, so it's available and viable for the next generation. And participating in the program, it has spurred me to kind of get my act together and look for ways I can fulfill some of my dreams and goals.
I think there's a lot of momentum in all of our different fields around things that need to change, and a lot of that takes heavy lifting and heavy work, and I think relationship building makes that process easier when you trust the people that you're in a room with, whether you have opposing views, whether you agree or disagree. When I started LEAD, I was accepted while I was working for a nonprofit organization, and throughout LEAD, through networking and just through the leadership development, I've been able to step out and do more things on my own, as on a personal and a business level.
I wanted to do this program because I didn't grow up on a farm, but I'm providing services to farmers, and I wanted to learn more about the agricultural industries across the state. And I think that's the best thing about LEAD, is that it provides that network across the entire state to provide different resources for people that you might not have necessarily had that ability to make that connection without the program.
If you're not at the table, you're on the menu, and I think it's really been interesting to actually be able to see how different groups have worked together that maybe wouldn't have in the past. Been really impressed at a lot of the conservation that farmers are going above and beyond, and also in some of them where they've worked with environmental organizations, which are not always historically been the connection.
In October, it will be 5 years since I've moved to Maryland from Pennsylvania, and I'll be quite honest, I really wasn't a fan when I moved here. And I will say, through this program, I'm really glad I did this program, because now I'm like, okay, I can be a Marylander. I'm actually proud to say I live in Maryland now, because it used to be like, nope, I'm from Pennsylvania, and that's where I would end. Knowing that I have people now in this state that I can call friends, that I can call my colleagues, that I can call on anytime I need something is invaluable.
I'm a bit introverted. I don't like speaking in public, and this has really forced me out of my comfort zone. I have spoken at a couple of things with my farmers, and it's given me confidence on issues that I didn't know too much about, and I've learned from my fellow classmates and used information that they have available to be more confident in my answers.
So I personally have never been out of the country before, so I thought that was a really neat experience for myself to go out of the country and just to learn about governments in other countries and their history. One of the organizations that I work with is the Maryland Grain Producers Association. So hearing the firsthand experiences of grain farmers in other countries I thought was really neat, especially as we're talking about issues such as trade and biotechnology here at home now.
Agriculture has been in a box for a long time, and I think part of Lead Maryland really exposes us to the rest of the world, frankly, preparing us to engage with those, the public who has been misinformed in a lot of ways over the last several decades of what we're doing. It's definitely a little LEAD club, and it's fun to be a part of it now.
Well, that's the great part of agriculture, is we put communities first, and we're able to work together and work as a team to do great things and to help each other, and so that we can make agriculture better as a whole and make communities better. And that is a great part, that we're mixed and that we're able to share ideas and learn and bounce ideas off each other.
We all choose to take the path we have taken, but we do sacrifice some quality of life to live sort of a better non-monetary quality of life. I mean, I know I enjoy being with the animals every day, and that's something that standard people don't have.
So I think the taxpayers are getting a big benefit from all these people going back out in the community and reaching out. One thing I'm starting to do through the company I'm with is reach out to the local high schools and try to figure out how we can develop more trade type people, maybe people that don't want to necessarily go into college, but how do we pull this all together and create maybe a farm that we can educate people from, hydroponics to organics to conventional, and develop people so when they come out of that, we're standing there saying, hey, this is a great person to hire, or even in our community, other businesses that are looking for those types of people.
I think those folks that are in policy and legislative areas that have not lived within the state of Maryland would really benefit by attending a LEAD program. And that was actually the reason I joined or wanted to apply to the LEAD program, was that I wanted to learn more about agriculture specific to Maryland, and then how they navigate the issues of being right next to the federal areas, and just the diversity of the people and the diversity of agriculture and how that all plays together.
And to me, the opportunity to go globally and learn about how someone else with a completely different culture still manages to grow food for them and the people around them is really important. Food connects us. You can't go anyplace and say, hey, do you not like food? And people be like, yeah, I hate food. Food is gross. Who doesn't like food? Like, it's a universal connector, and agriculture is how you make food. So whether you want to eat organic or GMOs or conventional, it's all farming and it's all agriculture. So it ultimately connects us in a fundamental way.